Hello, everyone. How are you on this day? And I want to bring you an article on Black Lives Matter. You can't be shocked. You really cannot be shocked. He is the accused. And allegedly, he is a rogue administrator. So you all cannot be shocked. You just can't be shocked at what's going on with the Black Lives Matter. His name is Shelamiah Bowers, and he is a Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation leader, right? And so he's been accused of stealing more than $10 million in charitable contributions. It also says he siphoned more than $10 million in donor fees to pay his consulting firm. He decided not to let go of his piggy bank. He diverted these donations to his own coffers, and he intentionally took steps to prevent same resources from being used by Black Lives Matter for on-the-ground movement work. Now, this is all allegedly, but there are several articles out here that are trending that he has siphoned $10 million. And I have put the some of the articles, where I got my information that you can go and read it for yourself as always. But I am going to read this, and it says the head of the Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has been accused of stealing more than $10 million in charitable contributions. Now, I am not shocked, and you should not be either, because you know that this has been a questionable organization from the beginning when they started this, and we see that none of the money really is going to the things that it needs to go to. It's not going, we don't see it going to communities to help, communities, uh, organizations, nonprofits that can help children get off the street, can help children get into programs, can help children to have a change of mindset by working with them, mentorship, programs that will help children make better choices, get their families involved. We don't see any of that happening. We just keep seeing more killings, more stealings, stealing of things. We see a lot of things going on that don't align with what Black Lives Matter is supposed to be doing. And if all Black Lives Matter, that means that the money that they have received from donors should be going to, these funds should be going to help the Black communities get better, help build up Black communities where they have been torn down, where things have failed in the community. How can we get back to hiring leaders that have been through situations, that have an experience to be able to work with youth? We don't see any of that money happening, but what we do see is people buying houses with the money, mansions. We see them buying cars. We see a lot of things that do not align with what Black Lives Matter is supposed to stand for. They select who they're going to help, and if it's not profitable for them, they do not use the money properly. So let's get back to this. As reported by the New York Post, Black Lives Matter Grassroots, a nonprofit group that represents local Black Lives Matter chapters nationwide, has filed a lawsuit against BLMGNF, and I'm going to use that acronym. As I stated, this is Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation. Okay, so the leader is Shelamiah Bowers, they're claiming that he siphoned more than $10 million in donor fees to pay his consulting firm. He has another business outside of Black Lives Matter, and most people do need to have other businesses or jobs to pay for and take care of their personal needs and livelihood, right? To finance their livelihood. However, it's saying that he used the Black Lives money, donor fees, to do so. Okay? That's not good. But remember, this is all allegedly because, he has a right to due process. But, before the due process, he has, we should think that they are innocent until proven guilty, right? So we do need to, think about that because we would want to be innocent until proven guilty. But we have seen some shady, shisty, suspicious business with the Black Lives Matter organization, right? And if you agree, you can always put your comments, respectful comments, in the comment section. Now, Mr. Bowers decided he could not let go of his personal piggy bank, the lawsuit stated. Instead, he continued to betray the public trust by self-dealing and breaching his fiduciary duties. Instead of using the donations for its intended purposes, Mr. Bowers diverted these donations to his own coffers and intentionally took calculated steps to prevent those same resources from being used by BLM for on-the-ground movement network. The lawsuit filed on Thursday in Los Angeles goes on to describe Bowers as a rogue administrator. What a term to be associated as. And this was last Thursday when this was filed. Now, while BLM leaders and movement workers were on the street, risking their lives. Now, they was boots on the ground, okay? Risking their lives, they said. Mr. Bowers remained in his cushy offices, devising a scheme of fraud and misrepresentation to break the implied in fact contract between donors and Black Lives Matter, the complaint read. So obviously there is a implied in fact contract. It's implied that these monies, the donation fees, will go to help Black lives that do matter. Even though we've seen how people have tried to act like Black lives don't matter, but when you start stealing money, allegedly, it's showing that all Black lives don't matter, just the ones that have access to these type of monies, these type of donations, these type of funds. That's all it's saying, is those lives is what matter. When you have money to do those things, they are showing us that they're the only lives that matter. And we can go back to Patrisse Cullors. Her life only mattered. But what about these children and communities that really, relied on these funds and relied on resources and help and donations, to help the nonprofits that are trying to work with these youth that are troubled, that, are in situations, environments where there's less, economic standing, that can help them, do better, encourage them by putting them into mentorship programs. What about all those things where they can turn their lives around, technical schools, college, diverting what they're doing that's not positive to something positive. This is the Black Lives Matter organization, grassroots, boots on the ground type of thing, doing the footwork. These are the things we want to hear. But yet and still, this is what we hear. $10 million being ciphered. Now, this is all allegedly, but what I'm saying about where the money should be used, no, I believe it should be used to make sure that for the betterment of all Black lives, because all Black lives matter, but yet and still, we're seeing only people that have access to this type of money. They're making their lives number one and making their lives matter by stealing money and diverting and ciphering money from donors that have given money. Sad, 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 but again, allegedly. So now, BLMGNF's board of directors have since denied the accusations in a statement posted to their website. Well, they are going to deny the statements. If you're in trouble, you are going to deny that is happening. And again, you are innocent until proven guilty. Now, I wish that was a real true statement, but people can just throw that statement around and all that stuff. But I wish it was true, that people are truly innocent until proven guilty. But we've seen that happen so many times. That's not absolutely correct. But I believe that you are innocent until proven guilty. However, we hope that you have not done those things, Shalimar Bowers. Now, getting back to the BLMGNF is here to give light and fight for Black liberation. The statement read, "Make no mistake, the allegations of Melina Abdullah and BLM Grassroots, and that's BLMGR, are false. They are slanderous and devoid of reality." Now, let me stop right there. Now, you remember Melina Abdullah, Dr. Melina, as she is called herself. Now, you do remember her, right? She is the one that she came out, excuse me, not tried, she did come out and she protected Patrisse Cullors, right? And she said, oh yeah, we're going to be showing, our, what was it, our financial status. We're going to post that when we file our taxes in April. Then we will let you all know where the monies went. Remember where the money went, not monies. Well, monies, yeah, plural, because it's a lots of money. 10 million is a lot of money. But remember, she said that they were going to they were going to let the public know. She actually, and you know what? It appeared to me from that old article, because this was a while ago when I did this video, it appeared to me she was telling us to mind the business that pays us, which was not our business, but it is our business, because remember, people have given to Black Lives Matter, and there's a lot of people now that are disappointed that this is coming out, that money has been ciphered and that money has been misused. But remember, Melina, Dr. Melina, you stuck up for Patrisse Cullors. You was all in for it. Remember, Dr. Melina, you really was. And I remember you, how strongly you came out and you was like really attacking people. Basically, just mind your own business and you can't tell us what to do. Pretty much you had that type of attitude, and I do remember, Dr. Melina. But however, now the shoe is on the other foot, and you attacked a lot of people that were concerned about Patrisse Cullors spending that money. But guess what now? Now you are upset that you don't have access to that money. Did he take away the passwords? Did he take away your access, and now you are angry? So we have to see what's going to happen with this, because we really don't know. Because I'm going to tell you, folks is all in when it's working for them. They're all in when it's working for them. But when it stops working for them and their powers are taken away, then guess what? They usually will come out and start talking. But as long as, that they have powers, they have access to passwords and emails, and they are doing some things. But when that starts to slightly, slowly being removed away from them, and they become less empowered, then folks want to talk. Now let's see how true this is when it comes down to the, to the evidence, investigation, as we call it, evidence of discovery, all these things, because we don't know if it's going to go to trial. But at the end of the day, what we can say is that folks will tend to, come together for one purpose. They come together to do dirt. And then when they are no longer needed, then what do? They split off, and then this is when you start seeing mud slinging here, mud slinging there. People start slinging mud. People start coming out saying things. Oh, I just want to tell you what really happened, girl. Oh, did you hear what happened? Girl, he was stealing money all along, girl. Yes, he was, and I seen him do it. All this kind of stuff. But if you seen him do it, why didn't you say something then? See, this is what I cannot stand about some black folks. Not all black folks is like that, but it's some black folks like this. I'm talking about it. Yes, I am, because people tend to do that. They don't talk about the stuff until things happen that they don't like. And when they feel like they're not getting their way, then they get all mad. And then they want to come out and they want to start telling the story. But see, we need to tell the God-given truth, not just, oh, I'm going to just tell my story, but is your story correct? So remember, people are innocent until proven guilty. So, but this is Dr. Melina, and I remember that very well. But getting back to the article, the news arrives more than a year after Patrisse Cullors stepped down her Black Lives Matter GNF position of executive director amid allegations that she used donations to buy 4 properties. And let's look at those properties. You see that? Black Lives Matter grassroots. Now, Dr. Melina Abdullah, she is upset that, Shalomaya Bowers has allegedly took this $10 million. Well, did the money, did her funding stop? Was she getting some money under the table? What was really going on, Dr. Melina? We'd like to hear from you. And then you see Patrisse Cullors, Miss Cullors over here. You see these 4 properties, and one of them, remember that mansion right there that she claimed was a $6 million, that it was a compound. Now, who needs a $6 million compound, and you have taken donors' money to buy these properties? You say you didn't do that, but you know what? It's suspicious, and now we have some allegations coming out. So maybe the whole thing needs to be investigated. We need to see what's really going on, right? Because this isn't correct. This just isn't right, that these people are stealing this type of money. And so I want to get to another article here, because there's more than one, but I like to get to another article. So please give me a moment to get to this other article about Black Lives Matter. And this is coming from CNN, because I believe there's additional information that I can share with you, and I truly appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate you stopping by my channel. Now, it says right here that we're going to go on, and it says that he used the donations for the organization for personal use. Now, this is coming from CNN, and it says that, again, he is called a rogue administrator who is, Shelamiah Bowers, and a middleman turned usurper who siphoned contributions to the nonprofit activist group to use as a personal piggy bank, according to the lawsuit filed in Los Angeles County Superior Court on Thursday. Now, Bowers' actions led the foundation into investigations by the Internal Revenue Service and various state attorney general, and blazing a path of irreparable harm to Black Lives Matter in less than 18 months, the suit claims. Now, see, if you are a thief, and I'm not saying that he is, because you know this is all allegedly, but if you are a thief, you know what? He didn't take years to steal this money. It says in less than 18 months. So you guys gave this man the reins. Patrice Cullors did. Gave over the reins to this man. And look at what's going on. And you know something else? I'm going back to this Dr. Molina, because she was just all in with Patrice Cullors. I wonder if they're still buddy-buddy. I wonder if she's still over there in some of the, some of those properties that Miss Cullors bought, and is she hanging out at that $6 million compound? I'm just wondering, because she the one is probably the main the main plaintiff, because she's outspoken and she's talking about it. So I do remember those things. So maybe she felt the reins should have been given to her. Do you think so? Maybe the reins should have been given to her is what she thinks. And she didn't get those reins. They were given to Shelamiah Bowers. So see, folks get upset when they feel like they were supposed to get a little more power and, maybe a promotion, and it doesn't happen. So then, they start looking at people. So let's get back into this. So it says that, while BLM leaders and movement workers were on the street risking their lives, Mr. Bowers remained in his cushy offices. When we talked about that, devising a scheme of fraud and misrepresentation to break the implied fact, contract that was in place between donors and Black Lives Matter. But this is very interesting, where it talks about that, that Bowers led the foundation into investigations by the Internal Revenue Service. Now, I do remember Dr. Melina Abdullah talking about it was nobody's business what was being done with that money, and that people would know soon as possible, or they would know when the taxes was filed. She basically was telling folks again to mind their own business. Well, if that is what's happening, the IRS said, you can't tell me to mind my own business, because when the IRS come for you, they come for you. And you know that they are not going to mind their business. They're going to mind the business that pays them. And the IRS is going to get paid. So they are going to mind the business that pays them. And if they feel slighted in any kind of way, they are going to definitely go after those businesses that are not paying them, or have not paid them, or have tried to sneak away from paying them. Now, let's get back to this. The suit filed by Black Lives Matter grassroots was light on details of the alleged theft. They were light on it. They should have been heavy on it, because the public wants to know of the alleged theft of funds, but delved into the fissures within the network of Black Lives Matter groups, charting changes in leadership and power that left Bowers with tight control of the organization. So he had tight control. When people are dealing with money, and we've seen that with pastors decide that the deacon board cannot be what they supposed to be, have the chairman and the head chairman of the deacon board. No, some of these pastors want to be in control of the money in the congregation, and then you start seeing money being taken, money being used for this and that, and the congregation didn't get the vote on it. You know how that all happened. The congregation should have quarterly meetings about how the finances of the church is going, where the money is going, and how much money is in this ministry and that and so forth. You know how it go. If you have been a upstanding member in your church and you have paid your tithes, you know how it go if you have attended quarterly business meetings for your church. I'm saying this because it's true. And some pastors decide they want to take control of the money, and then next thing you know, the pastors run off with the money. It's a lot of stuff going on. It's not just in organizations, it's also in the church organization. But however, This is the thing, having tight control and changing passwords. And I believe I read that somewhere, but don't quote me. That's allegedly that some people, their passwords was changed so nobody else have access to the money but Mr. Bowers. And Bowers and his group denied all claims of financial misconduct and chastised those suing him for falling victim to the carceral logic and social violence that fused the legal system in taking legal action against him. Well, they would rather take the same steps of our white. Now, let me start over and go back to this, okay? It goes on to say, they would rather take the same steps of our white oppressors and utilize the criminal legal system, which is propped up by white supremacists, the same system they say they want to dismantle to solve movement disputes. The Black Lives Matter Global Networks Foundation Board of Directors said in a joint statement. Bowers is one of the 3 members of the board. Now, BLMGNF is an administrative organization that raises funds to distribute to Black Lives Matter grassroots, the umbrella organization for local chapters of the group. Bowers was hired by Black Lives Matter co-founder Patrice Callas in 2020. My. You know, we always says that birds of a feather flock together. Now, to help raise and distribute money to groups within the foundation. Now, let's see here. Attorney Walter Mosley, representing the plaintiffs in the case, alleges, and we all say this is alleges, remember I've been saying that Bowers instead engaged in self-dealing, giving grants to his own consulting firm and charging exorbitant fees reaching 8 figures. The lawsuit demands that they return the people's funds and stop impersonating Black Lives Matter, Mosley said in a statement. Okay, all righty now. The lawsuit was announced at a news conference Thursday hosted by Black Lives Matter Los Angeles co-founder Melina Abdullah, who said that Bowers shut her and other leaders out of the BLM social media accounts in March by changing the password. See, I told you now. Now, see, this is alleged, but it's in this article. I told you, Dr. Melina, or co-founder, she goes by Dr. Melina, you all. She actually does, but guess what? I told you, shut her and other leaders. See what I'm saying? Out of media accounts, change passwords. See what I'm saying? See, people get upset when their power is being removed. And when they don't have access to the monies that they used to have access to and other things, then guess what? Mudslinging starts to happen. Now, as Abdullah leveled accusations at Bowers, he shot back in a statement claiming that she was the one who committed financial malfeasance. See what I'm telling you all? This is what happened. People come together for one common cause, to be able to do what they do. And when that cause is no longer working, and that people, they really don't like each other. I think I've done a video before where people come together for one common cause and to bring other people down, and to, and when it doesn't work for them anymore, look at what happens. They become enemies. Now, do we know of some people, not anybody, but do we know of some people on YouTube that came together for one common cause, and now they're battling with each other? They don't like each other. They've been fighting. They came out publicly fighting. Do we know of some people like that? Yes, we do. No names mentioned. No names have to be mentioned. Yes, we do. Now, let me go back to this, because, see, I told you. As Abdullah leveled accusations at Shalamiah Bowers. Now, I don't want to mess up this man's name, but I believe it's Shalamiah Bowers. Now, it could be something different. So, Mr. Bowers, if I'm messing up your name, please forgive me. But anyway, he shot back, saying that she was the one that was committing financial, not committing. She was the one who committed financial malfeasance. So guess what? Did he take control of those passwords because he saw some stuff and he didn't like she was doing? I don't know, because all this is alleged. But let me tell you something. Remember Patrice Callas, and she's the one, that she was the one that that hired him or got him involved in this, right? Patrice Callas, Callas did all of that. She was the one that did all of that. And then, remember, Dr. Melina, or Melina Abdullah, she was friends with Patrice, and you remember all of that. So I've already said all that, so you know about that. So that's why I'm saying, So now it says he also accused Abdullah of unprincipled decision making and a leadership style rooted in retribution and intimidation. Some type of unprincipled decision making. Unprincipled. You know, some people have some principles that just don't work, right? They're not right. Unprincipled decision making. Uh-oh. You know, can we say lack of integrity? You know, there's some stuff going on, unprincipled decision making. That's just putting it nicely. You know what I'm saying? Now, Black Lives Matter has come under fiscal scrutiny. I told you since 2020, when the group received $90 million in donations. $90 million amid protests following the murder of George Floyd by Minneapolis police. And you know who those people were, those officers, those, road cops. You know, we understand that. But see, remember though, this is just, the organization filed its first public IRS 990 tax form in 2022. And you remember Dr. Molina coming out, well, we're going to do it when we do it, you know, and people need to, you know, I'm telling you, let's get back, you know, they need to mind their business. She was talking all that stuff. And they just filed it in 2022 and was criticized by some for buying a $6 million Studio City compound. And you know, it wasn't some people criticized them. It was a lot of people criticizing them for doing that, for taking that money and buying a $6 million compound when they could have been doing much more with that money to help where it was supposed to really be helped. And they did not do that. And I think I also, if I'm not mistaken, excuse me, I don't want to say I think, but if I'm not mistaken, in my memory recollection, something to do with Amazon. They were, Amazon banned them. And so let's see here, because I need to look this up, because Amazon banned them, and banned them. So let me go here and see about Black Lives Matter being banned on Amazon. So let me pull this up. Give me a moment. Here it is right here, because I read this not too long ago, that Amazon suspends Black Lives Matter from its charity platform. And that was actually, I believe, this article came out. Now, I'm not exactly sure of the date that this, actually when they were banned, but this article came out. I stand corrected when I say that this article came out February 17, 2022. Under the New York Post, and there's other, again, sources out here, but this is what the Amazon, they did ban them, and it says the beleaguered Black Lives Matter Global Network Foundation has been kicked off Amazon's charity platform for its failure to disclose where tens of millions of dollars in donations it received nearly 2 years ago have ended up. See, even Amazon kicked them off. And it says Amazon Smile. So if any of you are familiar with Amazon Smile, that's where, if you are a nonprofit organization, you can, if your organization is on Amazon, you can go through Amazon Smile and you can give to the charity or donation. When you make a purchase, you can give, part of your purchase or whatever, a certain dollar amount or whatever goes to that organization that you choose. Okay, so Amazon Smile, which gives a portion of eligible purchases on the online shopping site to charities, said it had to temporarily suspend the group today, an Amazon spokesperson told the Post. So again, right, so if you go on Amazon Smile, you make a purchase on there, portion of the eligible purchase goes towards one of the charities that you choose, okay? So that's why you have, if you're shopping on there, be careful about which charity, because some of them may have similar names or same names, but a different whatever it may be. So you just have to be careful with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you're giving to a legitimate organization that's going to do the right thing with the funds, and you have did your research on that nonprofit organization, that's a good thing. But if you haven't, you can get caught up and you can feel disappointed, like someone that I read under a post. They said they were very disappointed because they had given to Black Lives Matter, and this is where Black Lives Matter is winding up at, okay? So states have rules for nonprofits, and they do. They have rules, and you have to follow the rules. And organizations participating in Amazon Smile need to meet those rules, and that is absolutely correct. Now, unfortunately, this organization failed out of compliance. They fell out of compliance with the rules in several states. They fell out of compliance. So they were not compliant. They were non-compliant. And so Amazon had to suspend their account, and so they've had to temporarily suspend them from the program until they come into compliance. Right, and they need to be suspended. Stop taking people's money, Black Lives Matter, if you're not going to do the correct thing. Now, Amazon plans to hold any funds that have accumulated for BLMGNF until they're back in compliance. So they're going to hold the money. They are going to do that until they're back in compliance. Now, Amazon Smile has raised more than $300 million for charities, according to its website. Now, in October 2020, BLMGNF took in more than $65 million in donations from Thousand Currents, a charity that manages assets of grassroots nonprofits, according to documents filed with the California Attorney General. But the group has so far failed to disclose what it did with the cash. As a result, several states have revoked its ability to collect donations. In California, where the group is based, the state's Department of Justice, DOJ, warned of BLMGNF's leaders earlier this month that they would be personally liable for any delinquency fees and fines. Now, on February 11th, BLMGNF released its long overdue federal tax filing, but also changed its accounting period from a calendar year to a fiscal year. The filing shows no contributions or grants during the January to June reporting period, and the group likely has another year to file its return for the remainder of 2020. And there were emails and calls to BLMGNF for comment, and they were not returned. Now, you know they probably changed their calendar year to a fiscal year because they want to buy time. See, this is the thing. When people are sitting up here hiding money, and when the public had asked them to come out and tell us why they were buying a $6 million compound and what were they doing with the money and how come they hadn't disclosed this information, remember Dr. Molina, remember what she said. And I'm not gonna, you can go look up her recording, but I remember, I believe it was an article, because I read the article, and I remember yes, it was an article, and you can go back and look that article up where she was protecting Patrisse Cullors and basically just attacking people and saying all type of things, whatever. She was just rude. You know what I'm saying? She was not a nice person. And when you're dealing with donors, when you're dealing with people money, when people are donating and people believe in your organization, and you turn around and you do things like this, it is very inappropriate, and people are going to start questioning you. They're going to side-eye you, and they are going to not want to donate. And all of this money that I'm sitting here thinking about, 300 million, 90 million, 65 million, woo, that's a lot of money that they are raising, and they still haven't did anything with the money that they should have been doing. And then there's Memphis Black Lives Matter founder Pamela Moses, sentenced to 6 years for illegally voting. There's just so many different things that's going on, and we just have to vet these people. When they put people in office like this, should we be vetting these people and making sure that they are going to do the right thing? Now, with this Pamela Moses, that's a separate article. I'm not going to get into that, but it just was something that is attached here, and it says that she was sentenced to 6 years for illegally voting. But it's just really crazy that we have to read this stuff. But I'm not shocked. It sounds crazy. It sounds just so bad, but I'm not shocked. I'm truly not shocked at these people for their behavior. I am not shocked at all. So anyway, this is, the disclaimer. I've already said allegedly, but look, the copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowances is made for fair use for purposes such as, criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. And the opinions expressed on this channel is not necessarily the ones that come to visit my channel. And this is also entertainment purposes. But honestly, this is really crazy here. And please leave your comments below. your respectful comments, because again, you know, Black lives is supposed to matter. All lives are supposed to matter. But when you start dealing with organizations like this that say they're going to do the right thing by the people, for the people, you know, they said that that's what they were going to do, is to help people. And it doesn't appear that they are trying to help anyone but themselves. And that's what it appears to be, in my opinion, allegedly. But in my opinion, that's what it seems like. And it just seems that they should have been doing the right thing with this money. And now, therefore, people have gotten tired of it, and they are no longer going to be putting up with this from Black Lives Matter. So Black Lives Matter, you need to come into compliance. You need to do the right thing. You need to start disclosing your income, financial statements, filing on time, taking care of what you're supposed to take care of, just like taxpayers take care of their things when they're supposed to. We are held to scrutiny to do the right thing when it comes to our taxes, and you have to be held to a standard as well. Because even if you are Black Lives Matter, even if you did decide to, you know, to come together because it was for a good cause, but that does not waive you from doing the right thing when it comes to donors' money and comes to filing taxes and doing the right thing. You do not get a pass. You need to do the right thing with these people money that have gave. And that have given, excuse me, and I'm going to say I'm glad I did not contribute to that, because I just think that sometimes people are shady, and I'm not easily persuaded, because, you know, that's just not right. I have my reasons, and I'm sure if you have never given, you have your reasons, you know, to why, because people like this is shady and they don't do the right thing. But again, this is my opinion, and then I've already said my disclaimer, and this is allegedly. So you guys have a good evening. Bye-bye.